I'll just restart. Hello, welcome. Hello, this week's guest is a good friend of mine. He's an ex-martial artist. He's been all around the world. And in his words, he's slithered with the serpents. No, he's slithered with the snakes, and he's soared with the eagles. And he's been everywhere in between. This week's guest is Martin Stemme. All right. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's late.
Thanks for having me.
This is my humble recording studio.
Yeah, it's great.
It
does the trick.
We had to wait for. This is actually the social room of the building I live in, and there were some kids playing pool in here, so we had to wait for them to leave. So that's why we're starting so late. But thank you, Martin, for being here. How was your Christmas?
It was good Christmas. Thank you for asking. It was like very chill, family orientated, very friendly. How about you?
Yeah, it was good. It was busy. There we go. We with my wife, we usually go to her family on Christmas Eve, and so we were expecting there to be a lot of family drama, but there wasn't this year, so that's nice.
Oh, that's good for a change.
Yeah, but we work together. That's how we know each other. But one of the things that drawn me to you was the fact that you're Latvian, and the only reason that drawn me to you is because I've never actually met another. Well, to my knowledge, I'm sure I have met other Latvians, but to my knowledge, I've never met another Latvian, and I'm not Latvian by blood, but my last name is Latvian.
Yeah, business.
And I was married, I was married into my mom married into the family, and so then I took on the name, and so I always knew that my last name came from Latvia. I never knew a whole lot about it, and then, I met you, and then you said you were from Latvia, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, and so, so did you were born and raised in Latvia?
Yeah, born and raised in Latvia, in a small town. I was born in a small town called Saldus. Spent most of my childhood in between Brocēni and Saldus. I went to school in Brocēni, and had a lot of friends in Saldus. So it's like literally that city is on one side of a lake, and then another city on the opposite side of the lake. But then there's a highway that goes around the lake instead of across it. So it's like a half-hour, I don't know, drive, maybe 20 minutes drive, maybe not even. I can't even remember. It's been so long. But like, I remember this one time, me and my best buddy, we decided to swim across it. It's not a small fucking lake, like it's huge.
Did you make it though?
Oh yeah. I had Crocs on. I had my wallet, my phone with me, all that in the mouth. Biting teeth over the water. Crocs are the worst thing to swim in. I'll never suggest that to anyone.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a horrible time.
And then, I wanted to feed anyways, and I had to like switch them off from my feet to my hands because like I just couldn't. It was like pulling me down. It's kind of funny, but we made it across. Saw some farmers. They offered us some food and water to drink after it, and it was pretty nice.
Are you a pretty good swimmer?
Yeah, I would say I was pretty good. Actually, the way I learned how to swim was my dad on my dad's land. It was like really, really hot summer day. He was married to this other lady, and she had 2 kids at the time, so they were like my cousins in a sense. And they were always swimming, and it was like this lake that horses would also go swim, and because it's a lake that horses would go swim, my dad always had this way of controlling the level in the lake.
Okay.
So we can do that. And then
like horses swim like they would just walk in it, or they would actually like float?
Oh, they walk in there and then they do their playing around and then they exit.
But they wouldn't like actually float in the water.
No, I've never seen them do that.
Okay.
No. No, they don't go that deep. It would be hard with the hoops to.
Yeah, like,
swim.
I don't know.
I've
I've never owned horses, so I don't know. You just said horses swimming, so
Yeah, no, they play in the water.
I'm picturing like a horse like putting on like a little like one of those plastic things.
Yeah,
like little hooves kind of thing. And
over his ears and everything. Do a dive with the salto.
Yeah.
The backflip. Yeah, no, and my dad, we walked up onto this way where he controls the level of the lake, and he's like, "Oh, now you're going to learn how to swim." Picks me up and passes me into the fucking lake. Get out, however you can get out, and I'm like fucking drowning in there, like fighting for my life. He's like, "Do this," like doggy style kind of thing, and I'm like, just panicking, like I'm not picking up on whatever the fuck he's. I'm like just thinking, just save me, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking he's not going to save me, so I got to save myself. And I started doing what he's like telling me to do, like to do the motion with my arms and legs, and went to the shore.
Yeah.
Sure enough, went back in after a while, and like it was it. I learned how to swim.
It must be. I don't know. It's funny because I've told pretty much the exact same story on how I learned how to swim, except it was just out of a boat.
Oh shit! Yeah.
In a lake, and I don't know if that's like a Latvian guy thing, because like even me with my boys, like that's how I am. Like it's just like you got to learn the hard way kind of thing.
Yeah,
And like, yeah, my dad, same thing. It was like we were pretty close to the dock. But, we were in the boat and we were coming up to the dock and he threw me out of the boat, like before we were even, like before like I could touch the ground at all or anything like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had to swim to the dock. And it was just like, that was just him teaching me how to, and I learned how to swim instantly.
Yeah, of
like,
course.
But I just think that's funny that you have that. Like I've shared that experience with a lot of people, but I've never had anyone share an experience like that with me. Like people say that their dads are like rough on them kind of thing, but like not legit throw them out of the boat and like if you don't swim you're gonna die kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that they would come get you, but it was like at the brink of your death kind of thing. Like you can see them through the water kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like there's like a crystal glass kind of thing. But even skating, my dad, like. I have a vivid memory of him just pushing me and saying like, if you don't want to hit that wall, you're gonna turn, kind of thing. And that's how I learned how to skate.
Yeah,
I was actually a really good skater for a while.
Oh yeah.
I stopped skating like probably when I was 17, 18. I just like didn't have friends that were into it, and I wasn't really into it. But like, yeah, I was a pretty good skater.
Were you into like hockey or like any sort of groups like that?
I was into the idea of hockey. I was always like good enough at something to hold my own, but not good enough to like hang with people that were actually good at something. So like video games, I could always beat my friends, and I could always beat like my family members, stuff like that. People who didn't play it very often. But when I got to and I would consider myself, a pretty good player kind of thing. There was points, Call of Duty, I was pretty good at for a while. My one buddy is way better than me. But like, and there are things in life where I'm like, yeah, I'm really good at this, and I know I'm good at this, or at least I understand it enough. But I would say for the most part, I got to the point where, I was good at it, I could hold my own, but I never like wanted to excel at it kind of thing. And skating and hockey was one of those things that like I could do really good at public skate. I could play British Bulldog, I could play tag, I could stop and for the ladies kind of thing, and spread, make some like ice fly in the air or whatever kind of thing. But like when it came to hockey and it's like I have to stop on a dime and control a puck and like a stick at the same time. No, heck no. I could not. I loved watching it and like being a part of it kind of thing, but like you pass me the puck, I'm useless.
But isn't it like with any training, like let's say in video games too, like you have to run, crawl, shoot, hide, find.
But I'm just using my thumbs on video games.
A lot more than your thumbs. It's your mind, and on ice, it's the same thing. It's all about mind.
I know. I guess like there's just like it was with anything really. Once there was an aspect of a bit of danger involved in it. Like, yeah, I was really good at doing things that were like cool, you know, like they were like regular person cool, but to like cool people, they were just like run of the mill things, you know what I mean, kind of thing. You know, like you know, like I have some friends that like they were doing backflips off their house on their mountain, on their like BMXs and their snowboards and stuff like that, and like you know, like they were to me that they were the epitome of cool growing up kind of thing. And like, you know, I could hang with them to a sense that like, you know, I could hit a jump here and there, or I at least had a bike that I could, you know, roll with them with. But when it got to like the point of actually, you know, and if I grew up with them, they were a bit older than me kind of thing. So, you know, maybe if I grew up with them and like, you know, got pushed by them and stuff like that, it might have been a bit different. I never really had like friends that like, that's the one thing. Like I love my friends because they're just like, they don't care who I was kind of thing. That wasn't like, but at the same time, they never like pushed me to be something more either. Like we were always just okay with who each other was. And it was just like, we don't need to be the people that are like ragging on each other kind of thing. And like, kind of like, you know, making each other, you know, like, it's like, yeah, you're cool how you are, I'm cool how I am kind of thing. Let's be cool kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah. So how long have you been in Canada, like consistently, like straight?
I don't know. I go back every so often, right?
So like when was the last time you were in Europe?
About, I don't know, maybe 5, maybe 8 years ago. I can't remember.
Okay, so like you've lived in Canada for a total of what, like 10 something years?
15-ish.
15 years?
No, almost. I came here, I was 14. I'm 28 now.
Yeah. So I mean, really, in like half the time you've lived here, you haven't been back to Europe, kind of thing.
I used to went back more often than I do nowadays. However, it's just really freaking expensive to go back. Like, I mean,
was it? Did COVID make it more expensive, or was it just gradually always getting expensive, kind of thing?
No, it was always about the same. Like I always knew if I'm trying to go back to Europe, I need at least $7,000. Like, because in reality, you know, thinking like this, it's like, while I'm working, I'm making money, right? However, while I'm back in Europe, I'm not making any money because I work hard labor, so I'm that kind of person. So I'm not making any money while I'm there. However, my bills don't stop here while I'm having fun there. You know what I mean? And then while I'm still there, because I'm not making money here still, I need to have enough money that when I come back, I can cover those bills, and I can still survive for that month.
Yeah. So the 7 includes like not only your trip, but like that month. Say if you were gone for a month or whatever kind of thing, like it would include that month's bills plus next month's bills because you don't have a job. You need to make money, kind of thing.
Yeah, but my bills aren't really high. It's never. Really,
but like that's what you're saying. Like that's how you think when you save up for a trip, kind of thing.
Yeah, because I have to plan ahead. You know, when I think that I have to come back to something, I need something to come back to. You know, like if I come back and I'm like, all my freaking things are kicked out of my apartment because I haven't paid my rent. It's like, well, what do you expect?
And you don't want to go and like not do like all the fun things and all the things you love,
like,
right? You know,
of course, you go back to have fun to just
it's a
chill.
vacation, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure. So, is there things that you did growing up, say as a kid, that, or maybe that you did it once or something like that, that now that you're an adult, that since you have gone back there, that it's like you do that every single time, kind of thing, or is there stuff that like the nostalgia type things like that, or is it more like you go and you do the new fun thing that's there?
No, there isn't really one thing that I would always go back to and do.
Yeah.
It's a small country, so many things that are already there available, I have already pretty much done.
Is there much of like a city life there?
It's hard to say. City life. I a hoodlum growing up, so you know I saw the back streets, a lot of alleyways, and side streets and things like that.
And you hadn't really been there in your adulthood, really.
No, in 14 some years. Yeah.
And so like when you say hoodlum, like,
okay.
What, like, how old were you when you first moved to Canada?
14.
14. And so, hoodlum, you mean like police, like you were getting in trouble with police kind of thing?
Oh yeah, a lot.
And so like, what was the first age that you got seriously in trouble with police? Like, it wasn't even just like oh, you better not do that, but it was like, yeah, this is legit, like, and you got like written up for it kind of thing.
First stage when that happened.
Like, were you ever booked kind of thing? Like fingerprints taken?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I was in holdings for over a month.
Like a juvie holding kind of thing?
No, like actual holdings.
So do they even have a juvie center there? Like,
yeah.
They do? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's like juvies. There's like also other like places like that.
Because the population is smaller than Edmonton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, way smaller. Like the city that Saldus was about, I can't remember. That time it was about 2,500 people, not including like an area, just in that
That's
city.
just a little town, yeah.
Yeah. So it was like bigger than Brotan.
Okay.
So it was like.
And so it was just like the local police station that you just stayed in the holding cell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because before the court and everything, I had to stay there because they didn't want to release me because of all the shit that I've done.
Oh, that's crazy.
Because it was like, I'd done something. I'm not going to say what I did, but I did something. And then while I was on probation of that thing, I did another thing. And they booked me. And then while I was on probation on that other thing and this thing, I did another thing. And I was like a hair thickness away from going to jail.
So you did like let's just say like the big thing, okay? Like the thing you won't tell me, okay? So like that's like the big thing that you had to go on probation for originally, right? Okay. Had you gotten in trouble with about a bunch of smaller things with the police before that kind of thing, and then or was it just like you went in hard kind of thing, and it was just like it was the big thing right off the bat? Like it doesn't even taste good. Like it just tastes like
it
paint
just
thinner,
burns,
basically.
It just burns when it goes down.
Pure chemical kind of thing.
Something, I don't know what the fuck they put in there, but it wasn't nice. And I only remember like small bits and pieces of that day.
Yeah.
Of the people when they were bringing me and my sister home. I remember I was dragging my feet like
the people, like the parents of like the people you're staying with.
Not
or?
the parents. It was the people that we were drinking with. The person that was our contact and the person's sister.
Okay.
And so they were dragging me home because I couldn't walk, and dragging my sister home. And I remember like this one moment, like the house of my aunt that we were passing, because I don't know, it kind of shocked me in a sense. Because if she sees me like this, I'm going to be in so much trouble, you know.
So did you have a lot of family living in that town?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Quite a few people between the two cities. Like my whole family basically was like around, you know.
And any corner
that wasn't in a jail.
Was it a regular occurrence to see your family then?
In a way, yeah. And Brotsa more often than Saldos, but yeah.
So it was a legit fear that you had. It was like
yeah. So if they see me, I'm going to be in so much trouble because I can't walk. Like, I don't understand nothing. And then I remember one part where I was going inside that apartment building that we were staying in at the time, and then some other like little flashes of things, like seconds, like not even like full moments, but like seconds of moments, and it's like not good things to remember, you know, like puking and crawling, and I remember my mom got home after work, and me and my sister were still drunk, and it's late, like we drank in the morning, and it's late, and we haven't drank before. Nothing after that, you know, but we're still freaking drunk, wasted, and the whole house just reeks like vomit. It's just, like, so gross.
Like you didn't make it in the toilet at all.
Well, like, no, it's like you make it to the toilet, but still, if you vomit this many times, the whole house eventually, kind of, you know.
And was this in that place still, like that your dad bought and everything? Like, was this in the same place?
This was in an apartment unit that we were renting. In some winters, because remember how I was telling you, some winters we couldn't even stay in there. So, yeah, and she comes home and she calls cops on us. And she's like, now you guys are going to get a real lesson.
Yeah.
And funny thing happened. She was the one that got in shit from the cops because of that. Because, like, she's responsible for us. And then she got fined. And yeah, I don't know how that ended all, but she got a fine in the end, not us.
That's crazy. I mean, I feel bad for your mom, really, because like I get her reasoning behind it, you know, like kind of wanting to teach you a lesson in a sense, right? And it's like, yeah, this seems like the good way to do it, and you'd almost think that like the cops would be, you know, on your side, thinking, you know, you'd almost think that you're doing the right thing, you know. It's like, okay, I'm gonna teach them a lesson, I'm gonna get the cops involved, and I'm gonna show them how serious this is, and then all of a sudden the cops are like, we gotta give you a ticket, actually.
Yeah, because the kids weren't looked after, and but that was the first time I was in shit with the cops.
And what's the age of legal consent in Latvia? 16, 17?
I believe 16, because
16,
when you're 16, you can also request your parent to let you be as an adult.
Live by your own kind of thing.
Yeah. Some paperwork.
Yeah. So so if you a couple more years and you would have been fine. But so do you think that like growing up, like do you think that you were always kind of like because you don't seem like a punk, you know what I mean? Obviously people grow up and get out of it, but like at the same time, like I feel like I am who I am, and like I've been who I am for my whole life, you know. I'm this very different person kind of thing in a sense, and so like do you actually before that, I'm just going to do you remember what I was asking you?
Me being a punk or something?
Yeah, like do do you think that growing up, do you think that you were like a hoodlum kid, or was it just something that throughout maybe the fact that your dad wasn't around, or like I'm assuming your mom had other dudes that potentially were around and stuff like that, and I'm just assuming, I have no idea, but like do you think that, because by the sounds of it almost seems like you did a couple bad things that were really bad, but it doesn't seem like you were like a gang member or anything like that. Like, it doesn't seem like you were just like a punk, like robbing stores all the time and stuff like that. Like it seems like more that you got caught up in some bad situations, and that like, and that's just from me knowing you. I have no idea. Like, but like, so like, yeah, was it more that you like just the people you were hanging out with, and it started at like 10 years old kind of thing, or was it like around 12 kind of thing, and it only was for like a year or two, and then it was like, and then they were like, no, we don't want this, and then you moved to Canada kind of thing?
Well, my mom was remarried after she broke up with my dad.
Yeah.
And so I had a fatherly figure from that.
Okay. Yeah.
Man. So it's not that I didn't. She was like with a lot of different
okay, but
men.
like, was he a father to you? Like, did you look at him?
Yeah, I called him dad.
Okay.
I called him
and
dad.
you respected him and
Yes.
stuff like that. Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Only I stopped calling him dad right when after the first time I came back from. No, not the first time I came back. I can't remember. I stopped calling him dad. Fuck, I can't even remember. But it was like super late. Like,
Okay. It was like
really
after
late.
you had been hanging out with your dad again for a bit.
No, I still kept seeing my dad.
Oh,
Like,
all the
every
time.
summer,
Okay,
like I would
okay,
always go
okay.
and hang out at his house.
So he didn't move to Canada for a while.
No. Like,
So he didn't move to Canada until you moved to Canada?
like, he moved first.
Yeah.
He moved, but before that, like I was always growing up. His house wasn't too far from my
Okay.
house.
Yeah. Nice.
So it's maybe 5 minutes drive with
Okay,
the car.
yeah.
So it's not too far.
So did you see him like weekly kind of thing?
No, I wouldn't say weekly because he worked a lot.
Yeah.
But I would see him monthly.
Okay.
maybe,
And you weren't
yeah.
like kept from your dad. Like it
No,
was like
no.
if you really wanted to go see your dad, you could go see your dad. kind
Oh
of
yeah,
thing.
just
okay.
a phone call
Yeah.
away.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And so did your parents have a decent relationship then? Like you were at like a separate relationship? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were friendly to each other. They wouldn't like call each other names or like anything like that in front of us. So it seemed like they were pretty friendly to each other. Like
It's funny because like my oldest.
Mm.
I'll have to bleep that out. Beep. His dad and my and me are. It's funny. Like you'd think that at his soccer games, like that he has two gay dads, kind of thing, because we're both like so close with each other and like we get along so well. It's pretty funny. I feel bad for him honestly because he has two dads like yelling at him instead of everybody else just has one, and we're just like we're just sitting there like kind of like run faster, and, like, we're only yelling at him. But yeah, that's cool. So what?
there was a whole bunch of questions in that first
There was
part.
there was a whole bunch of questions in the first part, but like I guess my main question is that like at what age do you think that you started to get into trouble with the law, or what was
Well, like I'll put it this way, like how your mom sometimes says to you, like any parent like will be like thinking the best about their child, right? Like because you can't imagine the worst, right? Because it comes from you. You're teaching them the best you can with the best you have. And I was the one that the craziest ideas most of the time. And my mom was like, "Why do you follow these guys? Like they always get you in trouble." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "But it's always my ideas, like to do all this crazy stuff." So basically,
like with your friends, you're saying, kind of.
Yeah. So it was like me pulling them into shit, basically.
And what do you remember? Like, do you not want to say what age you were?
I can't really remember because that drinking age, that drinking is what it kind of where I remember.
That very first drinking moment, was that like the very first drinking moment, like that you just said, kind of thing?
No. I've had tried alcohol before,
Yeah.
like, but not like getting drunk or wasted or anything like that.
And so, do you think that opened up like a door kind of thing for you?
Maybe in a sense.
Yeah.
I saw it as, because the cops didn't do anything to me, I saw it as I have more options to. I'm more free to do what I want to do because I'm underage. So with
so I was kind of right in a sense. You were a fairly, you weren't a hoodlum up until that point. It seems like you were almost caught up in a bad situation,
But even before that, though, like we did crazy stuff with my friends that we would get on bikes and stuff. I don't remember if it's before or after, but like we got on bikes and we would go around this what is it, like a cement factory. It's one of the biggest in Europe. And we'd go around and smash windows and like things like little hooligans would do. Paint cars with spray cans, things like that. So like
I'd say you're not as much of a punk as like your situation made you be. I don't know.
What do you?
That's my personal opinion, because I think and I don't mean that to be maybe that's your persona and you've like lived this like I'm a European badass kind of thing, and but like, and I don't mean to like knock you down a peg or anything, like that's not my meaning behind that, but like, because like I see you, and I've said this to you, like there's so many times at work or at just within life or whatever where I'm I can see. I'm always able to see the bad side of things for some reason, and it shines way brighter than the good side of things all the time, kind of thing. But you've always been like a voice of reason or type of person and stuff like that, or just even like even in your adulthood, like you like the ladies and you like to play around or whatever, but that's not like, to me that's not like a bad thing. I don't see you as like a punk or a gangster, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny because I make a joke where you're my you're my like you look like my Russian friend kind of thing, and I trust you sort of, and it's a slight, but there's that slightness about you that I don't trust about you, but that's just a joke. It's not. It holds no weight at all. Like, truly, I believe that. Like, that I don't know, and I could be. Again, I don't mean to take that away from you if that's something that you've lived off of or whatever. But
no, I feel like maybe you don't trust me, maybe in that one sort of aspect because you don't know where my loyalties lie.
Yeah, maybe. Like, are you like
what's close to my heart?
Are you
what's really going on in there?
Are you gonna? Well, like. And I'm and only like in the sense of like countries kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like I don't really care like where your loyalty lies on like certain things, but it's just more like, if there was a war to break out, like what side of the line would you be on? Because like I wouldn't want to have to shoot at you kind of thing,
Right. That's
I just find it interesting because even myself, I find that I put on this kind of like, even Jay says I glare a lot kind of thing, and I know I do. Like, it's a very comfortable position for me to just have my eyebrows down and just kind of walk around like this, and it's not like I'm not trying to be grumpy. I'm not trying to, but sometimes I am. Sometimes I don't mind being grumpy or whatever, but like. But sometimes I think I put on this like tough persona kind of thing, and I'm like this badass kind of dude, or whatever kind of thing. And it's even the same with you. Like, you have these tattoos, and it's like you put on this like tough persona, but like I mean, we can cut this out, but like it's even just stuff like when we're sitting in church and you're like. Oh, my tummy hurts, stuff like that. It's like, hearing a grown man saying his tummy hurts kind of thing, to me is like, it's like, you might have a tough outer exterior, but I think that you're a huge softie, honestly, on the inside.
Well, the thing is, I'll tell you this. Latvians are very direct.
Yeah.
very straightforward. You know, we don't beat around the bush because we don't like to extend things to a maximum. You know, we
Yeah,
like to once and done sort of thing. And like a lot of times, it backfires because Canadians are very emotional. It's very like, oh, touchy feely. You know, like, you know, I didn't grow up with that. I've never had that kind of
That's interesting.
never had that kind of like experience to lovey-dovey, you know, all that.
Just on a side note, like I feel like you're like almost explaining my relationship with my wife, almost kind of thing. Like it's just like and it's funny because I'm not Latvian, you know what I mean? But I was raised by a Latvian, right? And so like just this whole, you know, this I don't understand emotions in a sense or whatever, and like if that's just like a Latvian thing, you know.
It's not that I don't understand emotion.
No,
like,
yeah.
I've grown to be more emotional while I've lived in Canada.
Sure, yeah.
That's why, you know.
But you're just not raised with emotions in a sense.
No.
Like, yeah.
No, I have to think about it.
What's right and what's wrong kind of thing.
Yeah. And a lot of times, like, things happen in my mind that I feel like I might be saying out loud, but I might not at the same time. But, like, I'm thinking it, but I'm not saying it. And it's also, you know, will backfire because I'm like, I'm thinking that good thing, but I'm saying something different. And, like, my sentence might offend you maybe in a way, but it's actually like thinking a good thing.
Yeah, no, yeah,
that's different guidance.
I think that's just the way. Yeah, that's just Canadians for you. You know what I mean? Like, like we, and it's rubbed off on me too. You know, being married, it's rubbed off of me a bit where I feel like, where I've had to learn to be a little more emotional in a sense or whatever, or just to learn to have to understand emotions and stuff like that. It's caused me. Do you hear that little like in the background? Yeah, it's so annoying. Sometimes it catches a radio signal or whatever. So whatever. But one of these days, once I'm big, you know, this will be like a big upgraded system and all the denoising. It'll be all crazy. But right for now, you know, this is perfect. But what was I saying? Crap. I have to go back. Whatever. Oh no, what was I saying?
I can't even recall.
Because you were saying, oh yeah, just Canadians, like we like our emotion, and for me, like as I've been married longer and stuff like that, I can find myself feeling. To me, that's what Canada has turned into a lot, kind of thing. And so it's just funny that you just when you said like, you know, the Canada, or you feel like you say stuff sometimes that, you know, might cause someone to be like, oh, like, or whatever, you know, you hurt someone's feelings or whatever. And
like when I just said, like, you know, when Canadians are emotional,
yeah.
Like, that also could be a lot of people like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
What is he, you know? But like, it's not like in a mean way. Like,
no.
You guys just like understand emotion and you're more in sync with it. You know, us Latvians, we're just like more direct, more like straightforward. It's like we don't like to say things in 10 sentences that we can say in one, and it might come a little rougher on edges, you know, in that one sentence, of course, because it's not as refined as in 10. But like, it's question to that then.
Yeah.
That raises a really good question then.
Yeah.
If your son feels like he should be this sort of way, right, or whatever, you as a father feel like you should be in this strict way of showing him the right path.
Yeah.
So how is your right lesser than his right?
Don't trust me. That's the part that baffles my mind. There's so many. It's like, and that's really, and that's the fundamental of what I want this podcast to be about. Really, is that like, there's no right way to do anything, and there's no one way to do anything. You know, and I think that everyone, we can and we should be able to live peacefully together in a society where everybody is living their own life and doing the way that they want to do it, kind of thing. And that is the hard part, and that's what I'm wondering is that
Know why? Because Rome fell.
Because who?
Rome
Okay.
fell.
Fell?
And,
Okay.
Yeah, and it fell because there's this really, really good saying that I like to say, weak men, or no, it starts out like strong men will create good times will create weak men will create hard times will create strong men.
Okay.
Right? So it's a cycle that never ends, right?
Yeah. So
And
what creates gay men? No, sorry.
and so Rome fell because of all the freedom ideologies that states are having.
Yeah.
Right now, currently.
Okay,
They think that it's something all new and all this, it's not. It's really not. It's been around thousands of years before them. As states is relatively new country.
That was like,
Canada.
are you talking about like
You guys are
Jerusalem and stuff
less
like
than
that?
200 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So, and Europe has been around for way longer than 200
Oh, yeah.
fucking years, So we know a thing or two. But Rome fell because of all these ideologies, and men
Yeah.
became super weak.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they were like, oh, these fancy things and this and that and makeup and doing these crazy things. And it distracted them from what really matters. They got bored of, being sitting and having a really, really good life. You'll have prosperity, you'll have food, you'll have access to water, you'll have access to cleanness, medicine, everything, and that will bore you. And people get bored, and then they're like, "What do I do?" And then they have started having mental problems. Mental problems mean like, "Oh, maybe I don't feel right in this skin. Maybe I don't feel right doing this. Maybe I don't feel right doing that." Somebody else pushing me around my whole life, sort of thing. And then you sort of decide.
Yeah.
So
you
now you have no purpose in life at all, and you're weak.
Yeah.
In a sense of mentality and physicality.
So to sum like what you're saying up, like would you say that you expect there to be another fall
in 100 years? Yes.
In 100 more years from now?
In about yes, because Rome fell. It was around for about 300 some years.
Okay.
Roman Empire. Yeah. So and it fell 300 years later. So.
Huh. Interesting. Can you say that thing again? The weak times thing or whatever.
Oh yeah, strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. Hard times create strong men. And then a cycle again. Strong men create good times and so on.
I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we will continue this conversation another day. I appreciate you coming on.
It was my pleasure.
Yeah, it was cool. I think this to me, this seems like it went a little more like an interview type thing, right? Than our last conversation.
Definitely.
I feel like I'm getting a little better at this kind of thing. But I know that I need to learn to like lead the conversation a bit more because it's like I'm almost like, oh, like what do you want to talk about kind of thing. But like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on again. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. This has been another episode of the Stevey B Show. My guest this week, Martin Stemme, right?
Stemme, yeah.
Stemme. I see. I always like, whenever I expect it to be European or something like that, I don't expect it to be like spelt out how it actually is kind of thing. Like even Bizuns kind of thing. Everybody says Bizuns. It's Bizuns, and it's like, they say bisoons or something like that, or bisons or whatever. It's like, no, it's just how it's spelled kind of thing. But, yeah. Martin Stemme. But yeah, cool.
Simple.
Yeah, cool. Thanks so much, man. Cool.
Thanks. Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.